So anyway, going for a walk today. Didn't plan on it. It's an unplanned walk. I walked yesterday and I walked a little bit the day before that, so I'm anticipating being a little fatigued today. But that's okay. And we're gonna walk on. It's just weird how sometimes those dogs bark at me and sometimes they don't. They're psychos. So, I'm walking today because it's sunny. It's almost 50 degrees, a little breezy. So I'm just gonna walk because tomorrow we're going shooting. And then it's going to be cloudy in the afternoon. So I don't know if I would be walking tomorrow afternoon after we go shooting anyway. And Sunday it's going to rain all day starting Saturday night. So I gotta walk while I get the walk-in weather. So anyway, I'm not out to break any speed records today. Apparently everybody's going to drive through and turn here because I'm going by. So anyway, and it's already feeling warmer than I thought it was going to be, of course. So I'll take my gloves off. The gloves are off. One thing I wanted to do is give a channel update. I want to thank people that have been checking out my walking videos and other stuff. So what I've done is I've added a new playlist to my main profile page. If you click the playlist tab off my profile, I added a new playlist called Politics. And the reason for that is occasionally I attend political things. So I found some, I also have more video that I have on a couple of laptops. I'll probably edit and upload those. But different protests that we did in Augusta during the pandemic. People might find that interesting. Maybe. A couple of those were really interesting because you had Democrats and independents protesting together with Republicans, all for the same thing, which is just basically to be free without the governor having her boot on everybody's throat. So anyway, I made a politics playlist. Feel free to check it out. I have a couple of clips that I recorded myself from Trump rallies I went to. They're short clips, not big long watches. One of them's a couple minutes, another one's a minute. This all started because when I went to go see him at a rally at the airport in New Hampshire, as I explained in my previous video. Got to see Air Force One in person and all that. And unfortunately, the iPad, I had those on, decided to crap out, and I hadn't transferred those files yet. So I do have to double check a couple of hard drives I have, as well as a couple of laptops, because I may have backed them up and forgot about it. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that. Hopefully something backed up online and then I backed up my online stuff, I guess is what I'm getting at. Because most places allow you 5 gigabytes, and you go somewhere and you shoot video on an iPhone or an iPad, and that easily exceeds that with one video clip. I mean, so we'll see if I can find it. I hope so. I have it in my memory. That's good. And realistically, you know, it's one of those things where you record video and you just want to have it for keepsake. It's like, you know, why? In case you forget. And I don't really have a need to look at it unless I forgot what happened. So anyway, there's a politics playlist now for you to check out. Ooh, I'm getting pretty warm. Oh, look at that. Look at that across the way at Thorn Craig. Look at all the wood chips. I think they're cleaning up some of that. All those broken trees I was telling you about. I think they're wood chipping them. All right. Well, next time we walk through there, we'll take a look, see what they did. I mean, I kind of figured they'd have to do something because there were so many down trees and branches. It looks like they're busy little beavers, literally chopping up the wood. So that's good. So anyway, I had a few videos uploaded to YouTube. I really wished I had been using YouTube more when that happened, but the problem YouTube had at the time is uploading video. They would always limit the picture quality of whatever you uploaded. So the only way you could get really good 1080p quality or 720 is if you had ads, you were monetized. But if you were just an average Joe Blow, what would happen is it would upload it in SD, standard definition, but then put it at 720p for the pixel width. And the picture quality is okay, but it's not as good as what was shot, so I just never really bothered uploading a lot of stuff. Which I guess would be in the category of better than nothing at this point. Because at least I would have those. And there are tools available online to download YouTube video if they're public. So I could have re-downloaded those at a lower quality and at least I would have still had those. But I didn't do that. So anyway, that's the deal with that. So sue me. I remember what happened anyways. But that being said, it was a wonderful thing. I actually got to check my private messages on social media. I may have sent those to somebody. I don't know how far back I can track back on that, but they might still be available. All right, so we get the politics on there. I have a couple of other things on there you might be interested in the politics playlist. Like during the riots that were going on, I got a little bit of footage from vandalism that was done, things like that. Conversations, not the conversations themselves, but how I recalled the conversations that I had with the police department. Kind of interesting stuff like that. So, being a concerned citizen, you have the right to petition your government for grievances. So there's a video of us doing that as well. I went to Augusta with a couple of our state representatives, and we submitted a petition of grievances with the government for having us locked down. That's a legal constitutional right to do that. They were delivered right to the Capitol in person, like you're supposed to do, according to the Constitution. So this video of us doing that. So there's a lot of cool stuff, I think anyway. I wish a lot of it was longer. But I do have a couple of pretty good clips of a Trump rally in New Hampshire. One of them. I went to 3 over there. One was at the airport. So it was a lot of fun. Good times. So I'm going to try to find some video to upload with regards to that. So I had videos I had uploaded, basically is what I'm saying, is they were unlisted or private. Because at the time, I remember there was vinyl stuff that I was talking about with people on YouTube, and you know, I didn't want to mix politics with that because I uploaded one Trump video of a rally I went to before he was president, and some people were like, oh, well, too bad, you're supporting Trump, I can't follow you anymore, goodbye. So that's what they did. So I was treated with the usual tolerance you can expect from the left. So I started to learn pretty quickly how these people operate. But at the time, it was very disappointing. It was like, you're really just going to unfollow me because of who I want to vote for? Really? You're believing all the garbage on TV? So, that was eye-opening. So these videos have been private for a while. But now, I've come to the conclusion that I really don't give a crap what people think. And I'm going to put what I want, that I want, on my channel because it's my channel. I don't force anybody to subscribe, and I think Trump's a lot more popular now than people lead on to believe. I just do. Something I can feel. So anyway, if anybody caught it, Trump was posting on Truth Social real time while he was watching the Biden State of the Union address, and it was really funny. because he was posting things like in all caps. He goes, "Oh, the drugs are wearing off," when Biden started tripping up over his sentences. It was really funny. So anyway, decided to go for my walk this afternoon. I am warm enough now where I think I'm going to take off my hoodie. So I think that's going to be a must. I'm going to stuff my gloves in my pocket. It's that time of year where you don't know how cold it is until you leave the house and actually do something out in it. It was chilly last night. So you might see and hear me wrestle with my hoodie here shortly, so you know what's going on with it. So anyway, watching the State of the Union last night, I watch that every year they have it, because I don't want the media edited propaganda. I watch it live on C-SPAN with no political commentary at all. It's just a live stream of what's going on. So that's one thing I do like about C-SPAN. I also like when they have people call in after. They put everybody that calls on there, pro, for, against, whatever. It's one of the last non-biased broadcasts that we have. You just don't have people on there telling you what's going on and who the people are. So only people basically that know who they are and what's going on watch it. So that's what I chose to watch. So Biden comes out. Right away, I knew he was going over the top emotionally, because they're trying to hide his cognitive issues. He has to come out and be forceful. And he came across as being angry again. Clenched fist, angry face. A lot of the stuff, the way he was saying it, if Trump said it, did paint him to be a maniac, dictator, an angry person. And that's what Biden was doing. In fact, he sat there and he started going off on the Supreme Court about abortion and stuff, right to their faces. It was insulting. That's a third branch of government. You're supposed to respect them. So hopefully all he did was he planted a seed of, oh yeah, UMF, wait until you need something from the Supreme Court again. So anyway, last night's State of the Union speech was an obviously blatant campaigning speech, because he's so far behind in the polls. He hit on all the talking points that he's behind on. He even tried to blame the border on Republicans, which was a laugh. A big laugh. So And they just come out and lie. I mean, he lied big time last night on a lot of things. A lot of the things that he said Trump said were false. He parroted the clips that the media edited where they don't have the full context of the video from what it came from. One of them had to do with the mass shooting, where Trump said, well, we're just going to have to get on with it. Where they cut out the 2 minutes he was talking before, saying it's terrible for the families, it's a horrible thing. You know, we have the Second Amendment, there's got to be something that we can do that makes sense. This and that. And then basically was saying, well, until then, we're just going to have to get over it and move on. You can't dwell on it. So they took that all out of context, typically what they do with him. So nothing new there. All easily provable, demonstratively false. That's another reason why you should watch things live when they happen. What you should do is get in the practice of, when you see a press conference clip on the news, you know, CBS, ABC, NBC, they're all corrupt. They're all gone. They're propagandists for Democrats. They don't report news anymore. And if you don't want to get the far right coverage like Newsmax and OAN, then just go to your own YouTube, your public government sources, whether it's the House Republicans or House Democrats, or they'll have entire speeches on there. Just make the time to watch a 45-minute speech and see how they answer the questions, instead of your 2-minute clip, or even less, that they show you in the media. You'll learn a lot, I promise you. Because, you know, you're not a stupid person. You can watch this stuff and figure out what they're doing on your own. You can say, wait a minute, I watched one of these 2 months ago. He said something completely different than that. So was he lying then, or is he lying now? Things like that. So anyway, just my advice from somebody that doesn't really know anything. It's just what I do. I seem to be pretty well informed. Now, they had the Republican rebuttal after the State of the Union. The lady was nice and everything, and it was a very stark contrast from the Democrats you were just watching. She was too polite. She came across as being a goody two-shoes, but that's what you want people to see, because the message she explained was good. She talked about rape rooms on the other side of the border, things like that, horrible things going on. So there was a lot of discussion about that and whose fault it was. And she just told the truth. She didn't get all emotional. She did a little bit, talking about the rapes of women and how Republicans care about that. And she set the record straight on the in vitro fertilization that the media is trying to say Republicans are trying to ban. And Biden repeated the same lie that Republicans are going to cut Social Security. Just because 2 Republican senators said that they would like to find a way to cut Social Security, that doesn't represent the whole Republican Party. So, oh, there's that old Chevy Caprice. Old Chevy Caprice again, sitting there. I'm gonna cut across over here. Anyway, that's what's going on in my world. If you cared about it. If you didn't, well, I'm sorry. I gotta get this hoodie off. I'm dying. Now, if the sun wasn't out, it'd be all right. Now I gotta see if I move to my camera or the camera. So I'm gonna hide behind this telephone pole so I can have some light I can see. I gotta bring up la camera. Does it know I'm here? It does. I'm gonna wait for it to load. And we're gonna continue walking on. Where are you? Stinking. Maybe I gotta stop recording. Let me try this. Alrighty. There's them. I don't know what the hell that was going through. All I wanted to do was just take off my hoodie in peace and quiet. All hell broke loose. Well, anyways. Now I'm not sweating my can off. I think we'll walk up through this way since it goes on the other street I want to get to. See, I come out of the sun and it's cooler. I'll go back in the sun, it'll be warm again. That's what it is this time of year. It's like cool enough for a sweater, but not cool enough for a sweater. So anyway, this spokesperson for the Republican Party was a Republican from Alabama. Who the Democrats are angry with because they banned abortion. And Trump had mentioned something about having a compromise where somebody has to determine when it's a life and when isn't, then stick to it. So I don't know if that would be, I'm sure there'll be all kinds of lawsuits no matter who does anything. It's all they do now is sue, 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 lawsuit, lawsuit after lawsuit. I'm gonna sue you because you sued me. So lawfare is alive and well in America. There are many lawsuits filed where somebody's on the right side of it and they change their mind on it, or they resign from their position because it's explained to them how much it's going to cost them in legal fees. And here are your chances to get your legal fees recovered from the people suing you if you win. But if you lose, this is what happens. So that is causing people to drop their lawsuits. And you get a lot of these organizations that have millions of dollars behind them. And they're funding really good attorneys. So I think I'm going to do like I used to back in the day. I think I'm going to stuff my gloves in my pocket here. And I'm going to tie my hoodie around my waist with my arms. Like I used to do back in the day. Nobody wants to see my rear end anyway, I'm sure. There we go. Problem solved. So, something else I wanted to talk about, what's happened in Augusta this week. I got more information on the gun stuff. Basically, a lot of people showed up, thankfully. There was a good showing from pro-gun people, pro-Second Amendment. I think it has put a wrinkle in their vote because they have blue dog Democrats in Maine, I've explained. They come from red districts. They're not your crazy loony Democrats. We do have those though. But there were also people that showed up on the I'll call it the abortion transgender amnesty bill. Which is basically a bill giving amnesty that I explained about in my last walk. For people that come from states where it's illegal to get an abortion. They can come to Maine and get one for nothing. Friggin' state will pay for it, seems like. If they're a minor. So, they're not notifying the parents either. So a lot of people are calling it the kidnap bill because you could take some 12-year-old you've been raping out in the country somewhere and bring them here for an abortion if they get pregnant so you don't get caught. As far as I know, there's no legal checks on it. Because no parents are being notified to be upset about it. And 12-year-old that's confused and afraid of their abductor, they're probably not going to say too much. What else did we have on the bill? Oh yes, the wonderful National Popular Vote Bill. It's got a nice long title to sound official, but basically it would mean getting rid of the Electoral College votes. Actually, no. Because of the Constitution, you can't get rid of the Electoral College votes, but unless you change the Constitution, which would be very difficult. But what did happen was in 2020, after many lawsuits, Washington, D.C. in 2010, who was still angry that Al Gore won the popular vote, yet still lost to George Bush. If you remember the hanging Chads incident, this is basically all political repercussions from that. So I did my research like I usually do, because I like to read. There were 5 presidents in our past that were elected president after, quote unquote, losing the national popular vote. They won by the Electoral College vote. 5 of them. The Democrat excuse for doing this is, we've had 2 of those since 2000. In the past quarter century, we've had 2. Then they start ranting about democracy and votes not counting and every vote matters. Well, if they pass that, Maine's votes are no longer going to matter, because whoever wins the national vote is going to get your electoral college vote, regardless if your state elected a Republican or not. Of course, that can go both ways, but what's the likelihood? That's really the thing, because California, for example, Hillary Clinton got 4,600,000 or 4,300,000 votes more than Trump did in California. So by the time the election was over, she lost 3 million of those votes nationally. So she had a really terrible, poor showing, and that's what the Electoral College is supposed to do. So she lost 3 million out of that 4 million, that 4.3 million. She lost about 3 million nationally. So that's how that works. So yeah, she ended up having the popular vote nationwide, but she had the popular vote by a little over 1 million, and those were the votes that she picked up in California. So that's why the Democrats want to do this, because then Maine's electoral college vote that Trump won twice doesn't matter. Popular vote in Wisconsin or Minnesota, it's probably going to be more Democrats. But the thing is, let's say you don't have all the states do this. As it is right now, a lot of people don't know this, there are 17 states currently doing this. Washington, D.C. did it first in 2010. So from 2010 until now, they now have 17 states. The big one is California. Forget how many electoral college votes are in California, but it's a lot. So a lot of that lead, they're up to 205 electoral college votes. So I'll explain how this works in a minute with this national popular vote bill. All a state has to do is have their legislature sign on to it and become a member of the national popular vote bill, which is what the Maine Democrats are trying to do now. So what does this mean? Well, Washington, D.C. did it first, and they're not a state. They don't have statehood, so it's not considered a state, but they do have electoral college votes. So now that's 205 EC votes. When it gets to 270, that's automatically going to kick in. So that will automatically kick in because you need 270 electoral college votes to win the presidency. Now, I know what you're thinking. This can't be constitutional. This has to be illegal. Well, in 2020, we did have a split Supreme Court, okay? At the time, I don't think it would pass now, but a lawsuit was filed, and you had appeals, and it went to a higher court, and then federal court, and then an appeals court, and it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said that it is legal, and you can double check it, but there's literally nothing in the Constitution that says a state can't do what it wants with the electoral college votes. It just has to award the electoral college votes. That's all the Constitution says. In fact, it's very short. There's not very much about it. So the founders understood that we were a democratic republic and we would work these things out on our own somehow. And just a little nugget of knowledge for you. There's not one mention of the word democracy in the entire Constitution. Not one peep. Not a word. But you see a lot of republic, democratic republic, etc. They knew that democracy, true, real democracy, would be a mistake. Because someday it could be abused and used for nefarious purposes like we're seeing now. So that's why you see the Democrats, every other word talking about democracy, also mentioning the Constitution, like they both go together, and they don't. So anyway, they do have 17 states. Currently, 205 of the 270 electoral college votes needed. They need 65 more. What states would they have to do to get those? They would have to be big ones. Texas, Florida. They're not close to doing that yet. And I don't see enough other states joining in on that. Because all of the states currently, I don't even have to memorize the states doing it because you already know. It's Connecticut, Massachusetts, Colorado, California, Minnesota, Washington State. All the loony bin states have jumped on board with that. So if you want to try to figure out if they're going to make 270, look at the current list of loony bin states controlled by Democrats, which I didn't mention New York, but New York's in there also. So basically California and New York represent the biggest chunk out of that 205 that they have. And I don't see New York or California reversing anytime soon. They would have to be completely dominated by Republicans. I don't think New York voters are going to ever do that. No matter how much they're abused by the Democrats. And I'll say the same thing for California. Or Washington. Now, Oregon might have a chance. Oregon's one of those states, so is Wisconsin. Wisconsin resembles Maine a lot. They used to be a purple state, now they're leaning blue. That's what Maine's doing. So 10 years from now, 15 years from now, Maine might just be as messed up as Connecticut. So you might not be able to buy ammo online anymore, or own anything other than a bolt-action hunting rifle and a double-barrel shotgun, or whatever else that they feel makes sense. Regardless. But a perfect example is the abortion transgender amnesty bill, as I'll call it, in Maine here. Overwhelmingly unpopular with the public in Maine. But they're not going to give up on it. They voted to pass it on, or wanted to vote to pass it on. I believe right now it is still listed as unfinished business on the Maine government site. They're talking about it. This is the time to contact your representatives and your senators and bitch like crazy. So I've made 3 or 4 phone calls this week. I've sent out emails. A lot of other people are doing the same thing. And they have to listen to that because they want to get reelected, because that's all they care about. So I have a gut feeling that one's not going to go anywhere. I don't know what's going to go anywhere with the gun bill. I'd love to see more mental health stuff, but I just don't trust Democrats to not put in loopholes that they'll abuse for law-abiding citizens. And that's really what the problem is. A lot of gun owners want to do responsible, sensible things, but you can't, just can't. Not with these people. So anyway, the Electoral College vote will kick in if they reach 270, but I don't know if they can. I don't know if they ever will. That's why they're working overtime to turn Texas blue. All of the major cities in Texas are already blue, overwhelmingly. Dallas, Houston, etc., down the list. And that's why they want to get rid of the Electoral College vote, because those loony blue votes in red states are going to elect the president, not the voters. But on the other hand, if a Republican should come along to win the national popular vote, that'll blow up in their faces and they'll be very upset about it. Just like they're going to be very upset this November if Trump wins. They're already plotting and planning behind the scenes to sabotage that legally, using loopholes and lawsuits. The Democrats are hoping, and you know, I think the Republicans should campaign on that. They're saying, look, if you're going to vote for Donald Trump, you may as well just start voting for Republicans on the ticket if you're an independent, because this is what they're going to do. And then play the clips of them saying it. They're going to rig your election. They're going to steal your independent vote that you made for Trump by saying that if they win the House, that they're just going to impeach Trump and remove him if they have the Senate and the House. Which, you know, they'll do that. They don't need a reason anymore. So it's a very interesting time, and you know, you could sit back and say, what a time to be alive. We're witnessing all this history, and we are. But I'd rather just have peace and quiet. But it's blatantly apparent they have made their move nationally, full steam ahead. All money on board, all media in their pocket, like they have in Canada and Australia, which are no longer countries. And if you're Canadian and you're watching, I'm really sorry, but your country's gone. Sadly, because you allowed it. Now, you were angry about it, but there's too much passivity where, well, I'm not even going to go vote. My vote doesn't matter. Well, apparently it does, because if you look at the stats for percentage of who turned out to vote in the United States, they consider it a good voter turnout if over 30% show up to vote of eligible voters. What the hell is that? You gotta vote, man. You got to. I think if they went more to a national popular vote and got rid of the Electoral College, let's say they succeed in that, maybe that'll blow up in their face, because maybe people that never voted before will say, wow, maybe my vote does matter, so I'm gonna go vote. You know, that Trump guy, life was pretty good when he was president. I left the grocery store with a smile on my face. Maybe I'll vote for him. So it might be something that blows up in their face. And traditionally, young people don't show up to vote. And unfortunately, this abortion stuff activated a lot of young voters who usually don't vote, especially young women. Young 20-year-olds that want to go out and fornicate with everything, and if they get pregnant, they want to be able to do something about it. So they went out and voted, which is democratic. I can't really complain about that. But the left is well organized, very well organized. So anyways, this is going to be my political talk walk. So Sorry about that. There's just too much going on right now not to talk about it. I got opinions to share. It doesn't mean they're the right ones, but that's just my opinions. Everybody's got one, as the old saying goes. All right. So we'll wait and see what happens. They definitely don't want Trump to be president again, and they're going to pull all the stops, some of which we haven't even seen yet. So and if you know somebody that hasn't voted in a while, or they may or may not be registered to vote, make sure they get registered to vote. Make sure they understand, you know, because the common thing when you ask somebody to register to vote, and they say, well, I don't like the Republicans and I don't like the Democrats, I don't want to register to vote. Well, you can register to vote and be enrolled, but you're not registered as a Republican or a Democrat. You don't have to register with the Green Party. You don't have to register with a party. You can just register to vote. You can be an unenrolled voter. Everybody over 18 can vote. You just have to be registered. That's the thing. Because originally, they don't want people that aren't citizens voting, which is kind of laughable compared to what they're doing now. So anyway, get people to register. Just go to the City of Lewiston website, send an email to the city clerk. That's all approved through the city clerk's office. They'll mail you a registration card, or you can do it online. And again, you don't have to pick a party affiliation, but you do have to vote. It's important, very important. I respect the fact that people got shot at and lost their lives so I can vote and live in freedom to be able to vote. Because if you ever witnessed or read about Hitler's true plans for the world, they had potential maps drawn up of invading the United States through South America. Japan and the United States would have, at the time, South America was pretty peasant-like. It would have been very easy. Very easy. Then you'd have to wonder what side Mexico would have taken. Would they have said, oh, well, the grass is greener, siding with Japan and the Nazis, because they're militarily winning everything. But that's why it kills me when they're trying to say, that's the other lie, fear-mongering thing. The Republicans won't pass their Ukraine funding bill that they want. Not without having border security. So Biden last night was trying to make it look like Republicans didn't want to close the border because a bipartisan Senate team had a border bill and the House Republicans wouldn't vote for it. So they're trying to say that even Republicans in the Senate supported it, which a couple did. One of them was the idiot Susan Collins from Maine. We want the border closed, and so does 70% of the country. That's a fact. And blaming it on the Republicans isn't going to work, fellas. People aren't watching the media. So, that being said, that's where that's going. The Democrats, I think, are going to hold off, and they're going to use that as a campaigning tool, saying the Republicans are allowing Putin, who is the new Hitler, because that's what he said during last night's speech. Got to read between the lines. He literally said that Putin is not going to stop once he has Ukraine. In other words, he's going to invade something else nearby, Poland maybe. And the EU and NATO has been trying to sell that Poland is going to get invaded by Putin. So we need your money. It's all fear-mongering bullshit. Okay, that's what it is. They're trying to scare Republicans into supporting Ukraine because politically it's going to hurt them. And politically it's not going to hurt them. And I think they finally figured that out. So, it's a war they're having. It's a propaganda war. It's an election year. So, we're going to wait and see what the October surprise is this year. It doesn't even matter if it's true. They just need the media to talk about it 24 hours a day to make it true. Last time it was Trump was a Putin puppet. Russia collusion, Russia collusion, Russia collusion, over and over again. That lasted a couple years, special investigation. So, I'm going to walk down this way. This time, Trump isn't new at it. None of that crap's going to work. And he's going to come in with a slash and burn policy. And I fully support that, and I think a lot of other people will too. Because we're definitely seeing a lot of corruption. 1/3 of the Republican Party, for one thing, are corrupt. And probably 2/3 or 3/4 of the Democrats are. There's still some Democrats who are normal, but they can't speak up because they know the consequences. They won't be there next time. They won't have any money to run again. So that's the game they play. You speak out against the party, it's your hind end. Republicans don't do that so much. You got a lot of more independent free thinkers in the Republican Party who don't always get along, and they fight. But when they're fighting with each other, that's a democratic process in itself. Somebody will win that argument, I guess is my point. People argue with each other all the time. It shouldn't be, well, the hell with it. I'm not going to talk to them at all. In fact, I'm going to say they're evil, they're this, they're that. I'm going to call them names. So, I know the last thing I'm going to do is worry about what I'm going to talk about on my walks, because somebody might not like it, or they'll roll their eyes and say, oh, this stuff again. Well, my answer to that is, well, don't watch my videos. It's okay with me. I'm uploading these for me and people that care about what I'm saying. So if you don't care about what I'm saying, just don't watch. It's It's okay. It won't hurt my feelings. Looks like I'll be getting about 6 miles today. Pretty close to it. It's okay. I'm not going to be walking for a couple days. I know I said that yesterday, but I really thought the weather was going to be terrible today. They really can't predict the weather anymore. That I have noticed. Hello. And I should point out this time I'm walking. This time I'm walking, I got on the camera setting, I have it on narrow. I noticed that when I rebooted. I don't usually record on narrow. I like the horizontal leveling because it keeps everything from tilting. So hopefully it's not tilting too much. But we'll chalk this up as another experiment. Another experiment with the GoPro. I'll be doing more experiments with night walks. I don't know if the night walks will be perfect or not. If they're not, then I won't really upload any. I don't upload all my walks. Today I'm pretty sure I'll upload this one because of the political content. Ooh, I got a sweaty brow. I'm sweating. It's always this time of year. It's like that first 70, 75 degree day we have. There's been days that we went shooting and it was only 70, 75 and we were dying. We just weren't used to warmer temperatures because you acclimate to winter. And then a 70 degree day in the middle of summer would be a nice, cool, comfortable break from the heat. But when the year first starts, it's like, oh my God, it's horrible because your body's used to different climate. So last year I went on a walk, it was 70, 75, and it was hot. It wasn't hot, but it felt like it was hot. Let's put it that way. And then that next time we went shooting, it was warm like that and it didn't bother me. So there was just that one time my body needed to get used to it. I always salute this flag when I walk by. And also the POWs or missing in action. Soldiers. And we're gonna hang a left up here. I'm making good time today. It said I hit 4 miles at an hour and 11 minutes. That ain't bad. Getting plenty of sunshine today too, so that's good. Here's some tree damage that they cut down. There's one that got uprooted a little, another one over here. So I'm really glad we didn't have to deal with that at our place. Stuff's always a pain in the keister. The keister. Oh. All right, well, I'm glad I went for a walk today. I'll get that out of the way. I got this place up here. They're always out here working on old cars, doing other stuff. I think they had a trailer that had a race car in it one day, so they must be going to Oxford or something. I don't know what they're building. Looks like some kind of something they're going to drag along. That looks suspiciously like the bottom of an ice fishing shack. I think they missed that season. Maybe they had damage to one this year and they got a place to store that, so they're building a new one now or something like that. It definitely looked like something with skids on the bottom. Might be something else for this time of year I don't know about. All right. I had to change batteries. All right, we changed the battery and we're off again. Make sure I don't bushwhack you. Yes, I did that one on purpose. Does not feel very secure on my head. Hello. That's the lawn I saw a deer on one morning, afternoon. Trump sign on the lawn. A couple of Trump signs in this neighborhood. This is a Trump pocket. It's a Trump pocket. Now there used to be a Trump flag on this lawn. Over here was a flagpole, and it looks like the flagpole is gone. I wonder if they lost it to the wind. I don't know. State of Maine flag, USA flag, we got a school up that way. All right. Montello. Now, for some reason on Google Maps, this house in front of me is blurred. They blurred it. Could probably request to have that done, I think. Either that or Google doesn't want you to know. There's somebody walking a dog up here. I hope the dog's friendly. It looks old. She's crossing. Good. She doesn't want to deal with it. That's good. I don't either. Hi. Nice looking dog.
Thank you.
So far on my walks, women have been friendly. the women's. All right. The school up this way also. Same school. Montello. Now we're going to be walking through a part where I don't have sidewalks up around the corner here. But that ain't going to bother me so much today because there's no snow. That's the only time it's a problem. Really? Well, I'm pretty happy with my stamina getting back. I thought I'd be a lot more tired today. Basically, I've walked 3 days in a row, so that's good. And that'll feel good next week, because I'll get on the scale and hopefully I'll be 5 pounds less than I was a week and a half ago. And get back to my 230s, which is my normal weight. Over 6 feet, 230 something is good. Three or 4 years ago, I was about 270. That wasn't good. That was not good. All right. That's why we're doing it. You get older, you keep the pounds on. Walking's free. Good exercise for your heart, if anything, whether you lose weight or not. Ooh, little leg burn there going up that hill. So I am feeling the burn from 3 days in a row walking. Well, one of those days was closer to 4 miles. So maybe, well, this will come out to about 14 or 15 miles in 3 days. That ain't bad. Should feel fatigue. That's normal, I would think. Considering I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Definitely gonna get around 6 miles today, easy. The voice in my ear just said I hit 5 miles. So there's definitely another mile left. So that'll give me my 15 miles and 3 walks. So that'll make up for the mile I gypped myself when I went to Lake Auburn. If you watched that video. So anyway, it comes out in the wash. Take a shower when I get back after I have something to drink. Definitely keep my head on a swivel walking through here. It's people are people, gotta be careful. This is that tree right here. You can see that. That scarring right there is somebody drove right into that tree off the road over here. There was pieces of the grill and stuff over there a while back. Well, somebody just veered off the road and hit a tree. That woman was driving way too fast. Speed limit here is about 25, 30. Of course, nobody does that. The only time it's really dangerous to do that, to be honest with you, is after 10 o'clock at night on this strip, because I have seen a lot of deer out here. A lot of them. It would not be difficult to hit a deer on this stretch if you're driving too fast. That's really the catch. Vroom vroom. Most people I think do about 40, which is okay. That woman was definitely doing faster than that. And now I'm going to cross. We've got a lull in the traffic. Are the chickens out today in the chicken coop? I don't see the chickens. Maybe they're inside the chicken coop. Oh, there's one. Oh, they're out there. They're just not moving much. Chickens! I'm tempted to go film the chickens, but I'm not going to do that unless I see the people that live here outside here and I say, do you mind if I go film your chickens? Private property. I gotta respect my boundaries. How you doing? All right, we're hoofing. There's cars everywheres. I deleted yesterday. I transferred the files onto a laptop from yesterday, but I didn't delete them off of the GoPro. So it was kind enough to let me know that the SD card was full. So we deleted yesterday. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday no longer exists. I just deleted it forever. Thorncraig Bird Sanctuary. Yep, definitely gonna hit 6 miles today. Just fine. Well, that feels good. I gotta tell you, this is the first day since I started picking up the pace walking that I feel like I'm getting my stamina back. Past couple of walks at time, I was like, oh, I'm stiff. Oh. And that was even with a day off in between. So now it feels like I'm hitting the stride again. I'm doing good time. I don't feel fatigued. It was a little slow when I started this walkout. And I might feel it tomorrow, but right now this actually feels really good. It feels normal. And Sunday it's gonna rain, and I'm not walking tomorrow, so I know you've heard me say that before, but this time I mean it. 3 days in a row is good. I got my mile quota for the week. It's really what I was concerned about, making my quota. So combined with 2 walks before that, there's 25 miles for the week, which is what I wanted to do. So we'll go shooting tomorrow morning. I'm not feeling the same gumption to go shooting like I usually do. It's like with all things, you know, there's been time, you know, I love playing guitar a lot, and I haven't played guitar for over a week because sometimes you just need some time off from something. So I may take tomorrow off. I haven't decided yet. Hello. So it's one of those things that my brother got a new rifle. He wants to go sight it, which he can still do. He doesn't need me to do that. And I think my older brother is going anyway, so he won't be there by himself. So I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Sometimes you just need a break or a day off from something, that's all. Now over here, I'm gonna cross. I'm gonna walk over here. Oh, that pretty beagle. That's a beagle. Good looking doggy. Hey, Chief. That's my mail carrier. Carrying mail. Because that's what they do. He parked his buggy over here. Makes me wonder when they're going to unveil the new electric ones. That one's right out of the 80s, early 80s, late 70s maybe. Whoever had that contract did well. Supply and maintain an entire fleet nationwide of mail trucks. That means replacement mirrors, windshields, tires, wheels, engine parts. I bet you that was a good contract. Would not surprise me if it was Susan Collins' husband. He's very wealthy. And coincidentally, she was in charge of fixing the United States Postal Service in 2012. So they wouldn't be having the problems they have now. So that worked out well. She did that with Dianne Feinstein. Bipartisan effort to fix the Postal Service. Coincidentally, both of their husbands are involved with government contracts and contracting. And they got very rich. Terrible thing what these people do. It really is shameful. Yeah. Retirees in Maine on fixed incomes, they set their thermostat at 56 degrees, 58 degrees to get through the winter. And we give billions of dollars to Ukraine for nothing, because everybody knows it's a lost cause. It's another endless war. And it's going to end all right. Putin's going to have Ukraine. That's what's going to happen. And the experts tried to tell people before this started, and they were censored online, chastised, blacklisted, and silenced. Just like they do with everything. And I'm talking more of the people in Europe that knew this was going to happen, and our military did too. And they were told to shut up, and they wanted to get involved so quickly that we haphazardly, half-assedly pulled that Afghanistan and got 13 Marines killed by a suicide bomber outside the airport. Or as I like to call him, a homicide bomber. And the Gold Star father was at the State of the Union last night. And Biden was talking about how Americans aren't dying since he's president. And he decided to get up and he started screaming at Biden. And Biden security had him thrown out, which is fine, that's understandable. But the thing is he's a Gold Star father and he's been charged with a misdemeanor, and he shouldn't have been charged with anything. All he said was the truth. Biden killed his son. Said he was a murderer or something to that effect. He named Abby something or other. That was where that bomb went off. So anyway, that's going to conclude this walk. I just hit 6 miles. So I'm going to say see you later. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, everybody. Stay involved in politics because it matters to you and your family. So register to vote if you're not. And like I said, you don't have to choose a party to register to vote as. You just have to enroll and register to vote. So we'll talk to you later, everybody. See you on the flip side. Bye-bye.